I should have known something was off when he said, "Babe, I want to pick your maid of honor." Like, what straight man cares that much about bridal party logistics unless he's either sleeping with one of them or trying to avoid one of them? And yeah, spoiler alert, it was option number one, with a disgusting little plot twist I didn't see coming until I was already in a damn floor-length Vera Wang gown and holding peonies like an idiot. But let me back up. I'm Avery, 32. Home organizer by trade, emotional disaster by default. I like color-coded closets and overpriced coffee and was stupidly in love with a man named Carter, who I now refer to exclusively as my accidental bigamist ex. Carter was a vet. Army, not animal. Rugged, broad-shouldered, emotionally constipated, your usual red flag package, but I was in my I-can-fix-him era. We met in a Starbucks line where he let me cut in front of him and then paid for my latte because, in his words, beautiful women shouldn't wait for caffeine. Gross now, swoon-worthy then. Fast forward 3 years. We moved in together, adopted a dog named Mango, and started talking rings and venues, and should we do a honeymoon fund or just ask for Airbnb gift cards? Now, important context. My best friend since 8th grade, Layla, was supposed to be my maid of honor. We'd already made a Pinterest board and cried over bridesmaid dress colors. But then she got offered a year-long editorial position in freaking London, and what was I gonna do? Ask her to give that up so she could hold my bouquet and organize a bachelorette party? No. I was sad but proud. So I tell Carter, I guess I'll just ask my cousin or something, and that is when he hits me with, actually, I have someone in mind, someone who kind of saved my life. Now, I don't know about you, but when a man says that, you don't immediately go, cool, let her plan my bridal shower. But I was trying to be evolved, trying to trust. So I ask him, saved your life like literally or metaphorically? And he shrugs and says, both, I guess. You guys. He tells me her name's Savannah, that they served in the same unit, that she pulled him out of a really dark place, and that he hasn't seen her in years, but they recently reconnected on Facebook, and it just felt right to include her. I should have said no. I wanted to say no. But my stupid little brain heard, army buddy, and thought, awa, she's probably some tomboy with a crew cut who wears camo and makes inappropriate jokes. She'll balance me out. So I said yes, like an idiot. The first time I met Savannah was at brunch, and listen, she was not what I expected. This woman walked into the room like a Disney villain in disguise. 6 feet tall in designer heels, glowing skin, raven hair cascading like some sort of shampoo commercial, and a voice that made you want to tell her your secrets. She hugged me like we'd known each other for years and said, "You must be Avery. I've heard so much about you." To which I said, "Oh, have you?" Because my sarcasm reflex is stronger than my impulse control. Still, I gave her a chance. I sat across from her while she ordered smoked salmon on sourdough and told me how Carter once saved her from a roadside bomb with nothing but a shovel and a prayer. Which, by the way, turned out to be a total lie, but I didn't know that yet. The weird thing, she never made me feel threatened, not exactly. More like studied, like she was cataloging me. Every time I shared something, she followed with a memory of her and Carter. Like, I love hiking. Right arrow, oh my God, Carter. And I used to hike the Blue Ridge trails every Sunday during deployment. I'm thinking about doing a burnt orange for the bridesmaids. Right arrow, that's funny. Carter always said I looked amazing in rust tones. Girl, be serious. But Carter, he was beaming, like a proud middle schooler introducing his girlfriend to his mom. See, babe, I told you she's amazing. And I kept thinking, Avery, be chill. Maybe she's just one of those people who overshares. Maybe you're jealous. Maybe you're insecure because you once bleached your eyebrows in 2016 and never fully recovered. But then came the wedding rehearsal. That's when the universe ripped the rug out from under my spanked ass and screamed, surprise. It started small. The officiant asked us to confirm names for the license. Carter fumbled and said, "Just write Avery's full name and mine." The officiant looked confused. "Do you want your middle name listed, or should we match what's on the prior certificate?" Me, prior what? Officiant, marriage certificate. Savannah, visibly choking on her cucumber water. Y'all. It turns out, Carter wasn't just married once. He was still married. To Savannah. The maid of honor. The lifesaver. The freaking shampoo commercial come to life. Apparently, they got hitched for benefits right before deployment, then lost touch. And his words, not mine, never got around to the paperwork. As if that's just a thing you forget. Like an oil change. I don't even remember what I said. I think I laughed. And then I cried. And then I screamed, "You picked your own wife to be my maid of honor." Loud enough to make the caterer drop an entire tray of crab cakes. So yeah, that's how it started. Me standing in a vineyard, holding fake vows, next to a man who accidentally made me the side chick. And it only got worse from there. So there I am, full face of makeup, fake lashes starting to itch, standing under a pergola wrapped in fairy lights and lies, while my supposed fiancé fidgets like a child who just pissed himself in front of the class. Savannah, oh, she went full soap opera. Tearful eyes, hand clutching her pearls, probably real, whispering, "Carter, I thought you told her." Like that made it better. Told me what exactly? "Hey babe, little hiccup. I accidentally invited my current wife to stand next to you while you walk down the aisle I booked with her last name still on our marriage license." But here's the kicker. They weren't estranged. Nope, not even separated. They had joint bank activity. They had a lease in Nevada. They had a dog named Winston who, according to Savannah, missed Daddy. And me, I had a Pinterest board full of lies and a monogrammed cake topper that read, C+A forever. Should have stood for Carter plus anyone who isn't his legal wife. The guests started whispering. My sister tried to drag me into the vineyard bathroom like it was a bunker. Carter kept saying, "Let me explain," like that would somehow make the fact that I was engaged to a man who was still legally married to his maid of honor a little easier to swallow. So I did the only logical thing. I ghosted the entire rehearsal. I took off running, in my heels, across the gravel driveway, into the valet circle, ripped the corset off like a she-demon possessed and got in my friend Brooke's SUV while she yelled, "Shotgun wedding," more like shotgun divorce. We drove to the nearest hotel with a bar. I sat on a pleather stool in a Motel 6 lounge and downed 2 vodka sodas while Googling, "Is accidental bigamy illegal?" and texting my therapist, who sent back a skull emoji and "Do you need emergency Prozac?" By the time I sobered up enough to feel rage, I was already formulating a plan. Not a runaway bride. No, that's what he deserved. He wanted a wedding, he was going to get one. But it was going to be my wedding. My stay. My revenge. And my TikTok moment. Cue the petty symphony. I texted my bridesmaids, well, what was left of them, and said, "The wedding's still on, but wear black." No questions asked, those women showed up. I called the DJ. "Hey, change our first dance to Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood." DJ, seriously. Me, dead serious. Also, add Since You Been Gone and anything by Lizzo. Then I got to work on the vows. Oh, honey, the vows. I printed screenshots, Venmo receipts to Savannah, hotel bookings, a copy of their lease, a Reddit post from 6 months ago where Savannah shared a photo of her brave military husband in their backyard with Winston and a margarita. I turned it into a scrapbook of betrayal, put it in a binder, tied it with a fucking ribbon. Wedding day. Guests arrive, confused but dressed. Savannah, not there. I guess she finally realized being the side piece to your own husband is a little too meta. Carter stood at the altar like a lost puppy wearing a tux he didn't deserve. I walked down the aisle to Before He Cheats. Slowly, deliberately. The entire crowd confused, some laughing, some whispering. I got to the altar, took his hands in mine, smiled sweetly, and said, "Carter, I wrote you vows. Want to hear them?" He nodded, probably thought I was forgiving him, that I was taking the high road. No, baby. I paved a new road. Straight through his reputation. I opened the binder. First page. Things you forgot to tell your fiancé while planning a wedding with your wife. The audience gasped. Second page. A printed copy of their wedding certificate. Third. A screen grab of Savannah's Instagram, captioned, "Weekend getaway with my forever man," posted 3 months ago. The gasps turned into actual shouts. One woman dropped her mimosa. And then I bowed. Like I was at the goddamn Oscars. Carter stood frozen, staring at me like I was some alien creature sent to ruin him. And I smiled. Big, beautiful, lipstick-perfect smile. Then I said, "You may now go fuck yourself." Turned on my heel. And strutted down the aisle like it was a runway. The DJ. He knew the cue. "Since you been gone," blasted from the speakers. Guests cheered. Someone live-streamed it. Within 3 hours, the video had over 600,000 views on TikTok. My inbox flooded with Queen and Icon, and Teach Me Your Ways. And Carter. Well, he moved out the next day. Took Winston. Left behind a collection of whiskey glasses and broken promises. But don't worry. That's not the end. That's just the first burn. So let's talk aftermath. The TikTok went viral. Not just lol funny viral. No, I'm talking BuzzFeed article, reaction stitch, girl with purple hair doing a deep dive viral. The comments section was wild. Did she just expose a whole-ass marriage during vows? Iconic. Not the binder with tabs, she came prepared. Savannah really said, "Maid of honor," and forgot she was still the wife. People were duetting my walkout like it was a scene from Legally Blonde 3, the divorce scening. And I won't lie, I basked in it. Fully. Champagne in the bathtub while scrolling my own comments level basking. But then came the text. From her. "Savannah. Avery, can we talk? I swear I didn't know he proposed to someone else. I feel just as humiliated." At first, I laughed so hard I snorted risé. Like, girl, you were going to be my maid of honor. You were about to hand me bobby pins and tell me not to cry while your husband kissed me at the altar. And now you want to chat. But I paused. Because some sick part of me, the trauma-bonded, highly caffeinated goblin inside, was curious. So I said yes. I invited her to meet me at a coffee shop halfway between us. Public place, neutral turf, minimal risk of either of us flipping a table. She showed up in a cable-knit sweater and no makeup. No heels. No shampoo commercial hair. Just a very tired woman holding a vanilla latte like it was the only thing tethering her to this planet. And when she sat down, she didn't posture. She didn't try to defend herself. She just said, "I thought we were still working on it. I thought the distance was a pause, not an ending." But clearly, he was double-booking weddings now. That's when it hit me. We weren't two enemies. We were co-survivors. Of the same manipulative, gaslighting, emotionally stunted man-child who apparently thought marriage licenses were like Netflix accounts. You could just share them if no one changed the password. We compared timelines. Receipts. Messages. Emails. Turns out, while I was picking napkin colors, he was visiting her for closure. While she was sending him anniversary cards, he was on a work trip with me in Napa. He didn't just cheat. He overachieved at it. And we trauma-bonded over lavender scones. I'll say this, Savannah's smart. Sharp. And funny in that dry, southern sarcasm way that sneaks up on you. And weirdly, we became friends. It started small. sharing Carter stories like war vets swapping scars. Then memes. Then weekly brunch. Eventually, we even made a shared Google Drive folder titled Shit Carter Lied About. Top entries included, I never had a credit card, I hate musicals, and I'm allergic to shellfish. Which, no, he's not, because he ate 6 shrimp tacos on our second date and did not die. At some point, Savannah leaned across the table and said, You know what I regret most? Not asking for the receipts, I just trusted him. Isn't that crazy? And I said, Girl, I trusted him so hard I almost changed my last name to his fake divorced one. We both cackled. The cafe glared. We didn't care. But Karma. Oh, she wasn't done. Because a week later, Carter tried to spin his version of the story. Of course he did. He posted on Facebook, yes, Facebook, because he's 36 and still types with one finger. Sometimes two good people grow apart. Please respect our privacy as we navigate this difficult time. SIR. Two good people. Did one of them just accidentally propose to a second woman while forgetting to tell the first one? Did one of them gaslight both wives with equal commitment? I wasn't having it. Savannah wasn't either. So we dropped the final hammer. Together. A joint TikTok. A split screen. Matching black outfits. Caption. He picked me as his wife. He picked her as his fiancé. We picked each other for the takedown. We told our sides. Shared our timelines. Posted actual screenshots. Nothing defamatory, just facts. Cold, clean, petty. The video. 2.3 million views in 48 hours. His workplace saw it. His mom saw it. And his LinkedIn connections saw it because someone sent it directly to his boss. For legal reasons, that someone was not me, but I didn't exactly discourage it either. Let's just say, Carter been very quiet since. But that's not the real win. The real win. I went from almost marrying a liar to building an actual friendship with the woman he lied to first. And I know what you're thinking. Avery, are you okay? Kinda. Maybe. It depends on the hour. But I'll tell you this. Nothing heals quite like teaming up with your enemy, sipping wine, and watching the world drag your ex in the comments. You'd think after all that, the viral vows, the public shamming, the unexpected alliance with my ex's actual wife, I'd be done. Like close the book, toss the ring in a volcano, start a podcast called Don't Marry a Carter. But no, because life, my sweet little chaos cupcake, had more drama locked and loaded. It started with an invitation. A literal paper invitation. Hand-delivered to my apartment. Return address. Savannah and Carter Bryant. Yeah. Apparently, after being dragged across the internet and losing his job, oh yeah. Turns out HR doesn't love when you lie on your marriage documentation and go viral for bigamy. Carter had done what only a man with zero self-awareness would do. He reproposed to Savannah. And she said yes. I know. You're screaming, I was too. But let's not forget, I became friends with Savannah after the implosion. And if I'm being honest with myself, which I don't do often, there was always something in her eyes. A kind of ache that never fully went away. I think she needed closure. Or maybe just one last lap around the disaster track before finally walking off. We've all been there. Haven't we? Tell me I'm not the only one who thought a Dyson Airwrap could fix a broken heart. But the twist. She invited me to the wedding. She said I need you there, not as support, as a witness. At first, I said hell no. I was not about to sit front row while this man tried to whitewash his reputation in beige linens and fake forgiveness. But then she showed me the plan. Oh, Savannah. She saved the best pettiness for last. Turns out this wasn't a real wedding. It was a setup. A trap. A reverse Uno so savage, It made my revenge binder look like a preschool scrapbook. She wanted him to think she forgave him. That she believed his, I was confused, I was lonely, I thought we were done speech. She let him plan the whole thing. The vows. The venue. The damn Instagram livestream. And then she gave me a role. Not as bridesmaid. Not as maid of honor. But as the officiant. Yeah. She had me ordained online. And I was going to marry them. But not really. Let me explain. The plan was simple. During the ceremony, right at the speak now or forever hold your peace part, I'd pause. Then look straight at Carter. And say, actually, you can't legally marry someone you're still married to. Isn't that right, Mr. Bryant? And then Savannah would step in. Pull out her binder. We love a sequel. And expose every shady bank transfer, every message he'd been sending a new woman. Yes, new, even while reproposing to Savannah. Her name was Kayla. She lived in Austin. They'd matched on Hinge the same week he got fired. Unfreaking believable. So we rehearsed it. Planned every line. Got the live stream ready. And then the day came. Venue, rustic barn with Edison lights and too many mason jars. Guests, mostly his. Family, army buddies, a few people who looked like they ran CrossFit cults. I wore a black suit and heels, hair slicked back like a mob lawyer. Savannah wore white. A dress so elegant, even I gasped. Carter looked smug. Like a man who thought he'd beat the boss level. Like he hadn't just been cast in a true crime doc called The Groom Who Lied Too Much. I stepped up. Started the vows. Talked about love, loyalty, how sacred marriage is. I swear I saw him smirk. Then came the line. Before we continue, if anyone objects to this union, speak now or. I stopped. Looked at him. Tilted my head. Actually, I object, on behalf of the state of Nevada. The room. Dead silent. Savannah stepped forward. Binder in hand. Voice shaking, but powerful. Carter, I wanted to believe you, I really did. But guess what? I'm not the only one you've been texting. Kayla says hi. She loved the hotel room you used our old rewards points to book. Gasps. Aunt Cheryl fainted. I think someone dropped a mimosa again. Carter's face. Priceless. He went from tan to gray in 5 seconds. She pulled out a printed text. I just need to get through this wedding real quick, babe. Then we can be together. Babe. He called the side chick babe. He tried to speak. But Savannah raised a hand. Save it, we're not here for forgiveness. We're here for freedom. Then she looked at me. Nodded. And I said the most satisfying words of my entire life. This ceremony is officially canceled. The music cut. The live stream kept going. And the audience lost their damn minds. Within minutes, the internet did what the internet does. Cancelled Carter was trending. Kayla posted her own receipts. A third woman came forward. One of his old army friends commented, Damn, bro, we knew you were a dog, but this is next level. And Savannah. She walked out like a goddess. Head held high. Back straight. We got in my car and drove straight to the nearest Waffle House. Ordered hash browns and tequila. She looked at me and said, You think we overdid it? I said, Nah, I think we just gave karma a rideshare. We ate those Waffle House hash browns like they were communion wafers, and we'd just been baptized in chaos. Savannah still had glitter in her lashes and frosting on her heel from when someone had thrown a cupcake mid-ceremony. No idea if it was celebratory or violent, but honestly, that whole thing felt like a fever dream. At one point, she just stared at her fork, sighed, and muttered, I married a man who thought using our hotel points to cheat was resourceful. And I just lost it, cackled so hard I almost choked on a sausage link. Because yeah, Carter was that brand of stupid. Like, the man probably reused his wedding vows between women and just Control plus F the names. But while we laughed, there was still this weird pit in my stomach. Not sadness, not regret, something worse. Lingering humiliation. Not because I got duped, not because I was the side chick with a venue deposit, but because I wanted it so bad to be real. The fairy lights, the monogrammed napkins. The idea that someone would choose me and mean it. And even though we burned it all down with style and glitter and a damn binder of receipts, I still felt hollow. That's the thing nobody tells you about revenge. It doesn't heal anything. It just makes the silence louder afterward. And the silence was loud. After the fake wedding takedown, Carter went full ghost. Deleted his socials. Rumor had it he moved in with some aunt in Arizona. But for all I know, he's selling essential oils out of a van somewhere. Kayla, the latest mistress, messaged me once. Said he told me you were his crazy ex. I replied, well, now I'm his famous crazy ex. Blocked. Savannah and I stayed friends. But there was a tension now. A quiet, we survived a war together, bond that couldn't really stretch into brunch talk about favorite rom-coms. One night, we got drunk, and she finally said it. I stayed with him because I didn't want to admit I'd wasted 5 years. I nodded. I almost married him because I didn't want to admit I was lonely. And there it was. The real reason we'd both tolerated his bullshit for so long. Not love. Not even denial. Fear. Fear that no one else would want us. Fear that starting over meant failure. Fear that being alone was somehow worse than being lied to. Spoiler alert, it's not. Being alone with my plants, my Spotify playlist, and my blackout curtains. Bliss. Peaceful. No one lies to me. No one uses my Netflix login to seduce another woman. No one eats my yogurt and gaslights me about it. So yeah, I embraced solitude. Started my own little revenge healing arc. Deleted all the wedding content. Shredded the dress. Sold the ring. Used the cash to buy a Dyson vacuum and a weighted blanket. Went to therapy. Started Pilates. Finally watched all of The Crown without someone interrupting every 5 seconds to ask, wait, who's that guy again? And just when I thought life had settled, just when I had accepted that my new hobby was surviving, guess who showed up at my door? No, not Carter. I would have called the cops. His mother. Yup. Judith. Pearls blazer. Big I serve on the HOA board energy. She stood in my hallway, holding a Tupperware of lemon bars, and said, I just want to apologize for my son, and to thank you. You helped free Savannah, and frankly, I never liked him much after high school anyway. I blinked. Are you serious? She nodded. Also, can you send me the TikTok link? My bridge club didn't believe me when I told them he got canceled by a wedding officiant in heels. So I made her tea. And showed her the video. And she laughed. And that's when I realized this whole mess. It wasn't just my humiliation. It was his legacy. Carter Bryant, the man who married his mistress, proposed to his girlfriend, and got exposed by both during a fake wedding livestream. That story. It's mine. And I'm telling it. So maybe another woman doesn't buy the dream without checking for hidden contracts. Do I still flinch when I hear, here comes the bride? A little. Do I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found out? Yeah. I'd probably be pregnant, or depressed, or learning that my husband just took out a second mortgage to buy matching lingerie for 3 women. Instead, I'm here. Single. Sane-ish. Safe. And I get to say this out loud. I let him choose my maid of honor. He picked his secret wife. So I picked the truth and told the whole damn world. You ever sit in the quiet and realize your life has no background music anymore? Like, I used to walk around our old apartment with Spotify on shuffle, wedding playlists, love songs, acoustic covers of things that made me feel like I was in a Pinterest board version of adulthood. Now, silence. Just the low hum of the fridge and the occasional distant bark from someone else's dog. And for the first time in a long time, I don't hate it. I'd love to tell you I rose like a phoenix, got super hot, found a rich guy with a yacht named after an inside joke, and now live in coastal bliss with unlimited champagne and no trauma. But no, that's not real life. That's influencer grief cosplay. Hear what really happened. I got sad, then angry, then numb, then horny and downloaded Hinge again. I went on 3 dates. A guy who said alpha male, unironically within 5 minutes. A dude who ordered for me and called it chivalry. Someone who texted you up at 6:15 p.m. So yeah, deleted the app. Again. But that's not the important part. The important part is, I'm not waiting anymore. Not waiting for the big rom-com montage where I bounce back. Not waiting to be chosen. Not waiting for closure. I already got it. In a binder. On a live stream. In the eyes of every woman who slid into my DMs and said, "Thank you for saying what I was too embarrassed to admit." Because this wasn't just my story. It was all of ours. Every girl who got lied to with a straight face. Every woman who opened a man's phone and felt her stomach hit the floor. Every partner who said, "I'll forgive you," and meant it until they couldn't anymore. I used to think love was compromise. That if I just bent enough, he'd meet me in the middle. Now I know, if you have to contort yourself to be loved, it's not love. It's performance. It's survival. It's a slow death by 1,000. It's not a big deal. So what now? Now I wake up and make coffee for me. I walk around in a robe that still has a fake tan stain from the almost wedding, and I wear it like armor. I throw dinner parties for my friends with theme nights and Dollar Tree tiaras. I say no faster. I laugh louder. I text my ex exactly never. I still talk to Savannah sometimes. We're not soul sisters. We're not trauma twins. We're 2 women who survived the same storm and got out with different bruises. She's dating again. I'm not. And that's okay. Sometimes she sends me memes. Sometimes I send her screenshots of men I've blocked. There's comfort in that. Knowing someone out there gets it. Not the heartbreak, but the recovery. The quiet, stupid, clumsy work of putting yourself back together, without making it anyone else's responsibility to fix you. If you're reading this, hopping for a happy ending. I don't have one. Not the traditional kind. But here's what I do have. A full night's sleep. A clean apartment. A therapist who says I'm making progress. A group chat that never lets me spiral alone. And a voice that shakes less every time I use it. Maybe that's enough. Or maybe, just maybe, it's everything. And if Carter ever stumbles across this story and thinks she's still talking about me, yes, I am. Because you weren't the love of my life. You were the lesson. And I'm the one who lived to tell it. Avery. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.